Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah. Coming this evening with my 200 mark video for this second channel. 200 videos uploaded. Praise the mighty Yah. You know why I'm excited? It's cause not only cause it's my 200 mark, but that the Ruach in me has taught me something so awesome, so beautiful. And it's not like he didn't teach me this in time past. It's how like I really get a kick out of him clamming on top of my head. Ooh, I love it when the Most High Yah can clam on top of my head because I think that's just something I desire. And what he does is he clam on top of what he already taught me, and he want to because it's no end what the Ruach has to share within you. It's no end. So that's why you see me, I'm smiling, I'm excited. And it's not so much as the 200 mark of videos uploaded, but what I'm about to speak on this 200 video that's going to be uploaded. It's worth it. It's I look back and I said, Father, you awesome. And you know what? I'm going to tell y'all something. Until you understand the Father and his power, until you understand who is that power, what is that power, how are we to identify that power? And then when you pull up and understand what that name rests in, why that name got to be a name to it, it'll set everybody down, even when they continue to stand up. But you will see them sitting down because you will have truth in you. Your eyes can see them sitting down because they don't have truth. So sit down. Just sit down. You ain't got truth because it comes in spirit. And the spirit that abides in you is greater than any truth on the outside of you that you're teaching people on the outside. You got to give that glory to he that's on the inside is greater than you and everything on the outside of you. Oh, yeah, right. So I come today excited in my spirit because the Most High is going to suffer me to pull back what I've spoken about 3 years ago. He's allowed me to bring it forth again. And this time he's clamming on top of Deborah's head. I love it. I love it. I love it. And even just not when y'all clam on top of my head, I desire individuals who have heard and have been around Sister Deborah, and for them too to climb on top. This is how we keep working in y'all. So one thing, I'm a smart runner. Let's go. It's 4 runners. I might be the first one or the second one. But if I'm going to have to pass my baton over to you, that means you're going to pull up faster than I pulled in. Shut up and sit down and get it right. You see? You just we start together with ourselves. You're the fastest runner. To me, the fastest runner, I told y'all before, I almost feel like the fastest runner, he saved for the best for last. Pull on in, he got you. People don't understand that. If I'm going to say, if I'm the first runner, I swing mine to the fourth runner. The third swing to the fourth runner. The fourth runner, bring that bad boy on in. It's over. That means for the first runner, and what the bad boy. You know, that second runner, that second one. But that last, they got the runner, get out of their way. Because they ain't going to play. They're going to pull all the way in. All the way in. Because that's how y'all going to take them in. While y'all out here playing. So I'm excited that the Most High finna let me wheel on in on this one. And this is for, really, this message is really to touch base with Gentiles. I'm going to say all other nationality. How about that? This is to touch base with them to let them understand that the way the Father has orchestrated it through his power. He don't give a rats behind what these people out here saying. What we saying cannot override what he didn't say. So why do we think that we saying something? So I give him glory and honor for letting me even be able to speak again like this. Because the more I think about it, I said, Father, that was like 3 years ago. He said, pull on up. Pull on up. We in that day, pull on up. That means he's telling me, giving me information to step into this day full force. I know many of y'all want to be in the back and keep running and pretending you're running with Sister Deborah, and you totally against Sister Deborah, and that's all well. They've been that way with my father. So I don't expect nothing more. How about that? Let's rumble. Let's go to Genesis chapter 15, verse 4. In Genesis chapter 15, verse 4, and Gentiles, this is a message to you. This is dedicated to you as well, which is all nationality. This is going to set the Hebrew Israelites down. Okay? Genesis chapter 15 and verse 4. I'm not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of the right hand of my Father. When it pull up, go up, and land down. Genesis 15 and verse 4. Okay? And Sister Deborah gonna be hardcore on this. So if you ain't spirit and truth, and you ain't the light, and you on the other side of that table, which is my enemy, you might as well get yourself somewhere and sit down, because it's gonna cut you all up across this table. It's gonna cut you up. Okay? Genesis chapter 15 and verse 4. In Genesis chapter 15, y'all, here in 15, one thing I'm gonna tell y'all that you'll never hear preach. You'll never hear taught. And that is, when you speak out of this book, you have to first and foremost let he that is great in you override any word on the outside of you. Hello. So when you recognize he that is greater than you is greater than any book on the outside that you're trying to teach and reveal to someone. So as you hear what it's saying, now you got to bring the spirit in to break it and move this out the way, move this out there, move this out the way, move this out the way. Why? Because everything in the way of the light that is spirit and truth that you cannot receive. Yeshua said the time is now and the time shall come in that day when the true worshipers shall worship in spirit and in truth. And they are the one that has to move all these books and all these denominations and all these religions out the way and bring the word forth as the light. Okay? So in Genesis chapter 15 and verse 4, it reads, one thing I want to go back to Genesis chapter 15. I want to let y'all know one thing y'all do not understand. John, Abraham, Moses, I don't care who deals with y'all. They have to deal with him in the area of a spiritual realm. Y'all ain't giving you nothing outside of that spiritual realm. You either gonna meet him in the spirit realm or get your tail somewhere inside. He ain't coming to your flesh to deal with you at that level. You got to meet him in the spirit so he can give you what he needs to give you. You bring that into your spirit, you hold firm to it, and you know that is the truth. Then you bring it out of that flesh. But in other words, don't try to hit my Father in your spirit and think you got him lining up with you. Just take a look at Abraham. Genesis chapter 15. After these things, the word. What is that word? Is that all them words the Hebrew Israelites think they got a hold of? No, this is a different word. Genesis chapter 15, verse 1. After these things, the word of Yah. That word is the Father, the Creator. He is the word, not was. He is the word. not was. If he is, that means he always be the word. It make the word. It's not the word. Because the word was and shall always be. Because it was there at the beginning. It never forsake or left Yah. It is Yah. He is the. Now here it says, after these things, the word of Yah came unto Abraham in a vision. Wait a minute, hold up. You mean to tell me this book came to Abraham in a vision? This book is the word and it came to Abraham in a vision. Long enough to sit up so you can understand. Because here he's actually telling you the word. So you come to you come to spirit. So now hold up, Father, do you get that? You see how you cannot take the book and make it the words of the Most High Yah to the point when you don't know how to identify the word from the words. Whenever you have the Ruach in you, the Holy Spirit living down in you, and you are full of the Holy Spirit, he's going to bring down to you that he is the word. This book cannot be the word. This book was not here before anything before anything existed. But the word, he said, heaven and earth shall pass away, but the word, because y'all been taught that the word is the book that you're reading. Those are words. And many of them is added, take away, smeared, upside down, lying, and everything else. But through the Ruach that lives in you, it teaches you the truth of who is the word. Now, Abraham is here in a vision. What the vision is? It's not a natural. Came unto Abraham in a vision, saying, fear not, bro. Fear not. Well, what would Abraham fear? Because y'all stepping in him as the word. Something that right now, today, as I'm talking to you all, none of you knew. That's what the word is. And had you knew the word, you knew that the word was working with the power, and the power was working with the word in Genesis 1. The whole chapter. You missed the power and you missed the word. And you think it's what man made, add, take away, smear it up and down without hearing the Ruach be the teacher he said he would be. In thee. Not only outside of you, but in thee. Okay? So here, Abraham is now in a vision. And y'all had to say, hold up, bro. Fear not. What's wrong with you? Fear not. You in vision. Yeah, I know you are, but you ain't got nothing to be feared for. Why? I am. I am. See that I am? They never, ever taught y'all what the I am is. I am, and I can be this, I can be this, I can be this, I can be this. I am this, I am that, I am this, I am that, I am this. I be whatever I want. Don't let no flesh on this earth tell me that I can't be whatever I want to be. I'm the potter of the clay. The clay can't tell me. I'm the potter who created the clay. I turn one left and I turn one right. Trying to tell me what to do with what is mine, said the Most High Yah. Abraham now is in the vision. And Abraham feel right. You mean, is this Abraham? Yes. He said, fear not. Abraham, I am. He pulling up what? As a shield. He said, I am thy shield. and that exceedingly great reward. I'm your shield and I'm your reward, Abraham. When did he tell Abraham that? Abraham wasn't in the flesh, y'all. He was in the realm of the spirit. This is when you step on holy ground and you feel that thing. How did Abraham feel? He feared. So y'all had to tell him, hold up, bro. Fear not. Yeah, right. So right here in that verse alone gets me. Because it never been preached, it never been taught, it never been revealed, it never been ministered, it haven't been broke down, it haven't been broke up, so where people can understand the light in that message right there alone. Genesis 15 and verse 1 alone. Let's drop down to verse 4. Okay. Now we're still in Genesis chapter 15. We're going down to verse 4, and it says, and behold, the word of Yah. There it comes. Wait a minute, hold up, Father Yah. Came unto him. And what is saying about the word in Genesis 15 at the beginning, it's letting you know he coming full force, bold, blunt to Abraham. Okay. And he says, and behold, the word of Yah came unto him, saying, this shall not be thy heir. Meaning Abraham was talking about, he has Abraham in verse 3, he was talking about, he has a lot of those that has not been born out of his house in my heir. He was letting him know those weren't his. Those were not. No, let's go back there. Genesis, we're gonna have to bump it up to 3 so y'all can get the breakdown. So in verse 3 of Genesis 15 and verse 3, Abraham said, behold, to me thou hast given no seed. Okay. And lo, one born in my house is not my heir. So he's telling the Most High Yah that, in a sense, well, I don't have no seeds. I don't have no seeds. I don't have no seeds. Now there go 2 seeds. Heavens only shoot out 2 different kinds of seeds: the seed of the flesh and the seeds of the spirit. Okay. The seed of the flesh and the seed of the spirit. Which one of these seeds Abraham talking about? Abraham talking about the seeds of the spirit, of the flesh. Abraham is talking about the seed of the flesh. Abraham is talking about the seed of the flesh. I have no seed. Okay, now watch this here. And lo, one born in my house is not my heir. Okay, meaning he haven't birthed any seed. Okay, and the seed that he's talking about, a son or daughter, something that coming out of his own. Okay, and verse 4 is where we're gonna pull this thing up and we're gonna land that thing down. In verse 4, he says, and behold, the word of Yah came unto him, stepped in him. That's what the word means. I come in, I pull up. What you mean? What you talking about? Let me tell you. So listen to this. And behold, the word of Yah came unto him, saying, this shall not be your heir. Saying, this shall not be your heir. But he that shall come forth out of thy bowels shall be thy heir. The one that comes out of your bowels shall be thy heir, your inheritance. Okay? Now, here we are, Yah telling him he's going to have an heir. Okay? This is where he was telling Abraham this. He wasn't telling Abraham this in the natural, you guys. He was telling this to Abraham in a vision. Have you ever been in a vision? Have you ever been in a dream or a vision of the Most High Yah? How many can say they surely been in it and tell the truth and shame the devil? Have you ever been in it? If you have, then you'll know exactly what's going on here. Okay, so now let's jump to Genesis chapter 21. And now we're in Genesis chapter 21 and verse 10. In Genesis chapter 21, you know now that Abraham laid with Hagar, and Sarah handed her over to lay with him to bring forth a seed of Abraham. So in Genesis chapter 21, verse 10, Yah is about what he's saying. He say what he's about. Y'all know the difference from the seed of the spirit and the seed of the flesh. Don't mess with the Most High Yah in a way that you try to make yourself look righteous and holy and thou upright and just. Stop it. You can't get no just, no upright, no righteous than the Father himself. If you think that you got it and you got it way above him, that's what's wrong with you. Because listen to what he said here. In verse Genesis chapter 21 and verse 10. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, this is Sarah, cast out thy bondswoman and her son, for the son of the bondswoman shall not be the heir with my son, even with Isaac. Sarah's sitting here stepping into Abraham, letting him know the bondswoman is not the heir. The bondswoman is not the heir that was given to Abraham in the vision. Why did Abraham know that? Why did he needed Sarah to tell him that? Was not he in the vision with the Most High Yah when he told him that you're going to have a son and that he would be your heir? Why didn't Abraham know that the bondswoman, because she laid down with him, was the heir? No, he didn't know it. Sarah spoke it to him, but until the father pulled up and let him know. Listen to Sarah. And I myself don't even think it went that way. I'm just going to tell y'all what I feel in my spirit. I think the father told Abraham, yes, the bondswoman, son, is not the heir that I spoke to you about. The child. No, he didn't put it in here. But the child of Sarah, your wife, Sarah, will be the heir, not the bonds woman, son. Now, what's the difference in them two sons? Okay, what's the difference? That's the key. That same key is the power that has deceived and lied, preached, ministered, and taught you all still today at a high level of a lie. And until the true teacher pull up and abide in you and teach you spirit and truth, you still out in the dark, midnight hour, clowning. So get you a couple of tickets at the zoo, not the circus, so you can see the clown. Because here, listen to what Sarah was saying. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, which I don't think she said it. I think that Sarah wanted him to get rid of the bondswoman because how the bondswoman then went up against her, okay, using her son. For the son of the bondswoman shall not be the heir of my son, even with Isaac. So I think Sarah said some words, but I think that Abraham, let's finish that. Verse 11. And the things were very grievous in Abraham. He was sorrowful. When that was the consequences of stepping out of the realm in which Yah said, with Sarah shall you have a seed. He didn't tell you to go mess with what Sarah gave you. You see, you can see how a man can take something and not think 1 minute. Not 1 minute. Yah was in the vision with Abraham, not Sarah. So why didn't he wait on Yah? He told him Sarah should have a son. You was going to have a child by Sarah. But why would you do what Sarah tell you to do, as they made it look like Sarah told him to do this? Okay, I'm just saying that, y'all. But you have to step out of that realm of what they say and step in the realm of the spirit. What did y'all say? Y'all told Abraham that Sarah was going to have a child, and he was too. You know, they're going to have a child, and that will be your heir. When he gets in front of Sarah, Sarah transfer, it says, as they say, always putting the woman there, transferred, but you're going to learn in this day, and even the time of Mount Zion, you're going to find out who's who and what's what. Oh, yeah. Y'all never knew what Isaiah chapter 3 was talking about. 24 and 25. He said, I'm going to destroy Israel and Judah, especially Judah, men. I'm going to destroy them with the sword and even the mighty man. Because they way beyond, they stepped way beyond the boundaries. There is a boundary that Yah has set. Whether your tail is capable of seeing it or not, it's there. Get in the spirit realm where you need to be to see what it is. And this is where the men of Judah have stepped beyond the boundaries in which Yah has set. So many of them going to go down. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 22. No, 22, 23 and 24. No, 22. Isaiah chapter 3, 24 and 25. And then they're going to pull up in Isaiah 4 and say, oh, we're going to have 7 wives to one man. You silly. That's not 7 wives to one man. Yah is showing you how all the men going to be destroyed. Bump it right back up to the 2 verses before you hit chapter 4. Those men are destroyed. What is it you don't get? It's what the spirit of the Ruach ain't taught you, because you taught yourself and letting these flesh of these men teach you. Same thing with these women. Y'all letting these men teach you without the Ruach, without the power. Sit down. Okay, so here it says in verse 10, Genesis chapter 21 and verse 10, wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondswoman and her son, for the son of the bondswoman shall not be the heir with my son, even with Isaac. Now, when you really look at that, Sarah was never in the vision with Abraham. Hello. The vision between Yah and Abraham. So how do Sarah announce an heir with Abraham? But it continued, verse 11, and the things was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. He didn't like what he was seeing. If this sight is not spiritual, it's in the natural. He did not feel what he was seeing. He did not feel good about it. What he was what? In his sight, what he was seeing. Okay. Verse 12 tells the whole story. Watch this. And Yah said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous to thy sight because of that lad. Why? Because of thy bondswoman. Because of thy bondswoman. In all that Sarah has said unto thee, hearken to her voice. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called. So what was he selling right back into Abraham? He was selling to Abraham that what he was trying to get him to in the vision was given him. That all that Sarah have said, this is the part you must hearken to, Abraham, is for Isaac shall be the seed. Wait a minute. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called. That is the promise. I told you in the vision. So that's what Sarah was saying. I know she's saying a mouthful, but hearken to that part right there. That's what Yah was telling him. Isaac is the promise. Ishmael is not. And the inherit was not for Sarah to call it out. It was what Yah had already called out to Abraham on in the vision. Are y'all keeping up? So you see how man and put stuff in there to make you see woman had a big rope. No, let me tell y'all. Y'all back that thing up. Look in verse 12. And Yah said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of that lad. That means the son. And because of the bondswoman. Now this is Yah talking to Abraham. In all that Sarah has said, he said to Abraham, Sarah had said a mouthful, pretty much a little bit too much. But I want you to keep in mind what she said as far as, watch this here, Isaac shall be the seed of the call, to be the called. Isaac is the seed. Okay? For in Isaac shall thy seed be called. That's that heir I told you about Abraham in the vision. He is the promise that I promised to you. Isaac, not Ishmael. Okay? But listen to what you're going to find out. Watch how y'all branch that bad boy in. Watch how y'all take all of it and put it back together. Watch this. So then you get to, here you see in Genesis, the vision y'all had with Abraham, and that was in a spiritual realm on holiness, y'all, on holy ground. He was telling Abraham that you're going to have an heir that comes out of your bowels. Okay, and here in Genesis 21, he's allowing Abraham to suffer the consequences for entering into the bondswoman, and that's why he's grievous. His first son had to be stripped from him, just like David went into another man's wife, and he lost his first son. See, a lot of y'all think that these men out here thinking they can just drop their seeds anywhere and it's all well with y'all. You's a lie from the pit of hell. He ain't never told you to do no mess like that. Every last one of these men after Abraham, if you after Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, you should be really watching where you just throwing your seeds, because you're going to learn something. Even about, you're going to learn something right here. You're going to realize even the 12 tribes. Let me go on, Father. Let me go on to teach this bad boy. So here in Genesis 21, verse 10, 11, and 12, Yah sealed it with Abraham. What did I tell you in the vision? That I was going to bring you, give you an heir out of your own bowels. I know Ishmael is your own bowels, but you did that out of the order in which I gave you in the vision. I done told you go out there and do it to get your own heir. I told you I will give you an heir with Sarah, not with whatever Sarah give you as they want you to think. Let's put it like that. Okay. So where are we at now? Genesis chapter 24. Let's go to Genesis chapter 24 and verse 36. In Genesis chapter 24 and verse 36, in Genesis chapter 24 and verse 36, and it reads, and Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to her master when she was old. Now, when they said this master, that's man-made. That's all man-made. That's all man-made, because it breaks the protocol of Genesis 1. And Genesis 1 said he made male and female. He made them. You see, and just because man stole woman's identity, this is why you see homosexuals wanting to dress and appear like a woman. So if you say you got over here women that's lesbian and men that's gay, you're going to have 90% over here men, and you might have 20%, if 15% women that's gay. That's how you should be able to see that this is not a female thing. This is a male thing. Okay, so here in Genesis 24 and verse 36, it says, and Sarah, my master, Sarah, Abraham's wife, bare a son to her husband when she was old. That's all they had to say, because that's what they are, in one in the flesh. It's husband and wife. All this master, that's man-made. Stop with that mess. Okay, watch this here. When she was old, and unto him has he given all that he had. Now, what they fail to realize, where man did step in this here, is when they began to let's go to verse 34, where you're gonna see where man then went in and put their parts. Let's go to 34. Okay, Genesis chapter 24 and verse 34. And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and Yah has blessed my master greatly. Now, here is his servant calling him master. Why is it they're going to make you think that his wife, which they are no longer two, they are one? You ain't going to ever get it, baby. It ain't meant for you to get it unless the Ruach HaKodesh has gotten you, and that's where he rests within you. Otherwise, you will never get it. Okay, so here he says in verse 34, we in Genesis 24 and verse 34, and he said, I am Abraham's servant. Watch this here. And the Lord and Yah has passed. Wait a minute, where we at? Oh, and Yah has passed my master greatly. Now, blessed my master greatly. Now, that's Abraham's servant. Now, it's okay for him to call him his master because he served Abraham. Okay, watch this here. Watch this here. And this is where man and put what they want to put in here. They want to put the words they want to put in here to fit their whole ideal of what they did. They stole females' identity. And you know why they couldn't get away with it? Because Yah knew he was going to pull somebody up like me that know that the Most High Yah is two entities. Both his entities is feminine and masculine. He's both in one. No, he's not playing one side and the other. He is both feminine and masculine in one. That's why he said man become not two, but one. That means you work together. But they stole her identity by having a reason the reason why they stole her identity. They had to set up a reason why. And they said she sinned in the garden. That's what they reason why. Just like right here. Listen to what they said. Genesis chapter 24 and verse 34. And he said, I am Abraham's servant. Now watch this here. And Yah has blessed my master greatly. So why is his servant calling him master? And why is his wife calling him master? When Abraham and Sarah is not two anymore, they're one. So how will she be calling him master when they are one in the flesh in this time? It's a different name for a wife that is one with her husband in the flesh than a servant is with his master. Wake up, people. Okay, so it says here in verse 35, and the Lord blessed my master greatly, and he has become great, and he has given him flocks and herds and silver and gold and manservant and maid servants and camels and ass. Now his servant telling you how Yah gave this to Abraham. This is not Abraham working and getting this on his own. And I try to explain to people, you cannot turn around today and make God or Yah different than he was yesterday. You cannot flip him around any way you want to. You got to be led by the Spirit to know how to step into yesterday and then pull up today and level that bad boy out. These people don't know how to do that. They trying to use the Old Testament against the New Testament and the New Testament against the Old Testament. Sit your tail down. Use the Ruach HaKodesh that lives in you. Sit down. Okay, so what is happening here? I like what he's saying too. It makes a whole lot of sense. So he's telling you all this that Yah has blessed Abraham with. This is not stuff Abraham went and labored and worked and entitled to. That's how Yah do. He used people to bless his servants. And go directly to the ones that he have in the kingdom that he never been blessed on the earth. They too stuck in their own flesh that's come down here to walk in the flesh. So what verse 37, 36 says, and Sarah, my master's wife. Okay, I get it now. I get what he's saying. No, Sarah is not calling him master. It's him saying, Sarah, my master wife. That's my error. I'm sorry about that. I thought because I started off with 36. So let's back that back. So that's my error, because this is not what his servant is saying. He's saying his master. But I was thinking of also how they always tell me how Sarah called Abraham her master. They need to sit down with that. There's a difference between a wife and a servant. Sarah ain't got no business calling him master when they're supposed to be one in the flesh. So how you gonna call him master when y'all are one? Because they lost Genesis chapter 1, the way of Yah. Okay, so in 36, it says, and Sarah, my master's wife, that's what he said. I read that wrong. Bared a son in my master, to my master. That's his servant talking. When she was old, and until him have he given all that he had. So his master, the servant is telling us about how Abraham has given his son all that he had. You see, all that he had went to who? Huh. Huh. Why did everything go to Isaac? Do you really believe because just the vision that Abraham was in, where Yah said your heir will be your out of your bowels? The bondswoman son came out of Abraham's bowels. And that's the part I try to get people to understand. I'm going to step into somebody now. I'm going to make somebody angry. It bothers me because I'm going to step into Abraham's vision. I'm going to get in it. I'm going to step in here with Abraham in the vision in Genesis chapter 15. Because what it's actually telling all the Hebrew Israelite men and every man on this earth, your children is coming out of your bowels. So how is a woman liable for everything that's coming out of your bowels? And if it's coming out of your bowels, you're supposed to have it inherited for them. They won't even give them a roof over their head, nor a plate of food to eat. They go to the next house up the street, round the corner, best friend, even kinfolks, to have another seat. These children, males and females, come from the man, not the woman. He sat there and told Abraham, out of your bowels is the inheritance. So why the Hebrew Israelite precept in that, line in that, and little this and a little there? Because they ain't going to go that way, just like the Christian churches. Just like these pastors, these bishops, these priests, they ain't going to go into truth because it's spirit. Spirit and truth come together. Just like the word and the power and the word, they come together. You can't separate them because you think you got the power too. Sit down. You can't do it. So here it shows you how Abraham gave his heir or everything he had to his son. Which son was that? Who can tell me which son did Abraham give it to? Which son did he give his heir to? It was the son of his wife. The son of his wife. Of the what? Of the promise. Okay? He inherited with Abraham, everything Abraham had. You see that? Isaac inherited. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm taking you there. I'm just taking you there. Hold up, I'm just taking you there. So now let's go to Genesis 25. Genesis 25 and verse 5 and 6. In Genesis 25, verse 5 and 6, it says, and Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. Watch this, watch this. But unto the sons of the concubines, which Abraham had, watch this here. Abraham gave them gifts and then sent them away from who? The promise, Isaac. We're gonna bring that thing up. We're gonna land that bad boy. Okay? Because only the Father Himself is allowing me to bring this to the level where I'm gonna line this thing up. So here from Isaac, his son. Let's go over that again. Abraham gave all that he had. Let's go. Genesis chapter 25 and verse 5. Genesis chapter 25 and verse 5. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. But unto the sons of the concubines, Abraham gave gifts, okay, and sent them away, like he did Ishmael, and sent them away from Isaac, his son, while he yet lived eastward until the east country. He sent them away from the promise. You see? Let me explain something to you all. When you see this here, this is the creation from the kingdom. You know how he said, you born of the spirit or you born of the flesh. Okay, you're born as the serpent seed to serve the serpent seed, or you're born as the spiritual seed. Okay, you represent darkness or you represent light. Okay, you are either in with Yah or you out with Yah. That's all it is speaking of. The child of the promise versus the child that's not of the promise. And when we show you where the Israelites and every last one of y'all lied on my father, you don't even understand what the promise is. The promise is separating the two. That's all the promise is. The promise is to separate it. Y'all's sons. To separate y'all's seed. To separate the light of Yah from darkness. That's all he's doing. That's all Yah was doing. That is what the promise is. The promise is not what you all seems to want to believe. You all missed it. You missed it. The promise is not the promise that you think the promise is. The promise was always the promise of that which is spiritual, that which is eternal. That's the promise. And because you dropped the ball back in Genesis chapter 1, y'all let you drop the ball even all the way to Revelation, and you still don't know, and it's over. And you still don't know nothing, and it's over. Oh yes, watch this. In me couldn't understand. Why is it that they lying on my father? Father, God, I got an issue. What do you got an issue to, Deborah? I got an issue. You did take them to the promised land. You took them all the way to where you promised them the land. You gave them the land. That was the promise for the flesh. The promise for the spirit is in Zion. What's this? The real promise is Mount Zion. Mount Zion is going to be not only the promise, but the new Jerusalem. I'm into it. You lied. You lied. You dropped the ball way back in Genesis, and y'all still didn't let you pick it up. And here we are in Revelation. Dropped the darn ball a long time ago, walking around here like you know something. All this time I'm like saying, but Father, why do they want to teach that? Understand that. They understand. Back in here. Father, talk to him. Promised land. Father, talk to him. Yeah. Let's go there. Let's go there. So I'm gonna show y'all how y'all been lied to, even to this very day. In Ezekiel chapter 36 and chapter 16. 36 and chapter 16. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 16. Moreover, the word of Yah came unto me, saying, reason why the word was coming to Ezekiel, because Ezekiel didn't know this. You see? Well, see, when that word, I told y'all, don't mess with my father. He is the word. You the fool. But in Ezekiel, he's going to tell it like it is. But listen to how he poured up in Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 16. Moreover, the word of Yah, he poured up into Ezekiel, came unto me, saying. But you thought it's the book, huh? You thought it's the King James Bible. Oh no, 1611. All the lost books, all the found books, they didn't write them all in there, Deborah. Oh, the Enoch book. Y'all lost with the cause and without. Because y'all took this late midnight hour to play around. I'm so grateful that he didn't separate the wheat from the tare. And the tare still trying to pull up on the wheat and don't even understand he marked the wheat. Now sit down. Okay. The wheat is been marked. Okay. So here in Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 17, son of man, when the house, he's stepping into, no, go back to 16. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 16. We will hit 17, but this is a prime example of how you ain't got no business listening to Hebrew Israelite men. None whatsoever. They dropped the ball in Genesis chapter 1. So if they dropped the ball then, they don't know nothing in Revelation. They don't know what's happening in this day and time because they didn't tarry. They didn't wait for the Ruach like the disciples did. They tarried in the upper room. And they waited for the rushing roaring wind to come in and indulge them with Yah's spirit. But these Negroes today, they ain't waiting for no spirit of Yah to come in them because they don't want him to teach them. They want to teach your stupid tales. But they didn't never wait for Yah who comes. You didn't wait because it was better to be a teacher than to be a the Ruach HaKodesh. That's why he allowed you to be on these devil platforms teaching these lies to these people. You don't have a problem with it. You ain't teaching nobody but those going to the broad gate anyway. Hello. Okay, so here in Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 16, it says, moreover, the word of Yah came unto me, saying. Now, when you said the word, do you really think that this book came to Ezekiel? Do you really think 1611 and all the lost books came to Ezekiel? Because that's when I said the ball been dry, they never knew Yah was the word, and the word was Yah, and the word is Yah. It was with him in the beginning, and it's going to be with him in the end when it's all said and done. And what they didn't understand, with the word came the power, and with the power is his spirit. When you are messed up from the floor up, you don't know the difference. Hello. So what is happening? Here the word is coming before Ezekiel. I love it. Watch this. Son of man, when the house of Israel dwell in their own land. What was that land? The promised land. Wait a minute. Don't tell them that again, Deborah. Tell them again. Okay? The Son of Man, when the house of Israel dwelled in their own land, these Negro Hebrew Israelite men, they are liars. They are cults. They are they're just liars. They're not going to tell the truth because the truth ain't telling them. So how can they tell you the truth if the truth ain't in them telling them? Telling them what? Spirit and truth. So they are without, but they do a marvelous job sending you to the broad gate. Praise the mighty God. He made two gates. Okay, so it says in verse 17, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwell in their own land. What is that own land? Wait a minute, where did they dwell in their own land? How did they get there? When did that happen? Wait a minute, Father God. Josh took them there, Deborah. I made way. They had everything. The richest land on the face of the earth. I gave them A to Z, Deborah. And I was in the midst of them. I was among them. I was upon them. And listen to what he says. Son of man, when he told to the prophet, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwell in their own land, y'all got to catch up because you way behind. And you ain't going to catch up. It's over. So he's going to let you stay your tail behind. Don't pull up on me. Okay? So he says they were in their own land. Wait a minute. Hold up, Father, y'all. I got a question. Is that the promised land you promised Abraham? Yes, Deborah. It's the promised land that I promised Abraham that I would give unto his seed. They just didn't know what seed it was. But I gave them the promised land. Now watch this here. They defiled it by their own way and by their own doing. Their way was before me as an uncleanness of a removed woman. Therefore, I poured out my fierce upon them for the blood that they shed. I mean, that they was killing each other up in the promised land. Deborah, was that the promised land? Yes. They lied. They lied. And they lied. They are liars. They was liars in Genesis. They're going to be liars in Revelation. And the end, going to be able to divide the both to the lake of fire or eternal heaven. They lied. That's why people so indulged in believing the lies than the truth, because the lie is in them. It ain't roaming around trying to get you to believe they lies. It's in you to believe the lie. He's sitting here telling Ezekiel, his own prophet. He's stepping into him. He's stepping into him, letting him know. Let me tell you. You know the ones you took to the promise? No, he said the one you took. He said, Son of man, Ezekiel, let me tell you one thing. When the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, only time we knew that the house of Israel made it to the promised land is when Josh took them over. Well, wait a minute, hold up, Father. Y'all, don't that mean that, wait a minute, Father, y'all, don't that mean that the promise you promised to Abraham in the vision about also giving the promised land to his seed? Is that it? Yes, Deborah, 100%. I gave it to him, Deborah. Tell the people what they did. Verse 17, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their own doing. Their way was before me, meaning the kingdom of the Father, as an uncleanness of a removed woman. Therefore, Deborah, I poured out my fierce upon them for the blood. Whoo! You know, like Cain and Abel? They was up there. No, they like Cain on Cain on Cain on Cain. That's what they were doing, y'all. And y'all sitting y'all tails, your dumb tails around here, trying to make y'all the lie so you can live the lie. You see? Now he's sitting here telling you, Israel and Judah especially, but Israel and Judah, they got their promised land that I promised Abraham. So I said to the Father, this almost 3 years ago, I said, wait a minute, Father, look like I can see you giving him the promised land already. What is this about the promised land? How is it for something else? They are. Because they're liars. And they ain't gonna teach you the truth. They ain't gonna pull up with spirit and truth. They ain't gonna show you the light. You see? Now listen to what it's telling you. It says that verse 18, wherefore I poured my fears upon them for the blood that they shed upon the land and for their idols wherewith they had polluted it. They polluted the land, y'all. What you mean, Deborah? The land was holy, y'all. What is it y'all just sick minds don't get? They were in the promised land. He fulfilled what he told Abraham in the vision, that they're gonna end up in the land. I'm gonna give them the promised land. But you didn't know he had two. He had one for the flesh, and he had the land for the spirit. Ah, you thought he didn't have a ram in the bush, didn't you? That's why you the fool. Okay? So he went on and talking about how they polluted. How could you pollute the promised land that is holy, Father? They did it, Deborah. How could you be killing each other on the land that is holy, Father? They did it, Deborah. And not one group of Hebrew Israelites, Judah, not one. Your minister on this devil platform would tell the truth. They won't tell you the truth. That's okay, because you ain't gonna believe it no way. I'm so grateful that he did it from the kingdom and not from the earth. Because see, y'all messed this whole earth up with their lies. I'm glad that heaven's got the truth resting in his bosom. So he's sitting here telling you that, Deborah, I took them to he's telling Ezekiel, hey, Ezekiel, they've been already to the promised land that I promised Abraham. Any other thing that they want to spring in here and make it like a dead end, that's a lie. He said, but they didn't know it was another promised land, which was in the ram in the bush. See, you didn't know he had a ram in the bush. That was the spiritual promised land. See, y'all didn't know that, did you? And then he began to say in verse 19, and I scattered them among the heathens, and they were dispensed throughout the countries according to their way and according to their doings. I judged them. See, y'all thought that we got over here and y'all put us over here so that they can do something to us. That's been a lie. It wasn't for them to do something to us. It was what we had done already to him. And look like it says right here in verse 19, I judged them. But you see how you still justify, clarify, and identify that they are the reason why? You see? Negroes are a people that has some dark issues within their spirit. Judah, dark, evil. Not a Judah man will come up here and tell you the truth. That's why he got me pulling up as a woman. Because I'm the son of Yah. Come to be the servant, but in the kingdom, I'm his son. So live or die, I'm coming as the son when I go back. You see? So this is why he has to send his. Because those that's down here ain't gonna tell the truth. And they have the audacity to get on my page and sit on the opposite side of the table. That's why I'm here to tell you, you're my enemy. You're not on the same side. You're on the opposite side. So let's continue. So that right there shows you that the promise had two promises into one. It was given to Abraham in the vision. So any verses that comes and back it up to make you think or feel in your flesh that no, the promise is over there in Mount Zion. No, that's the spiritual promise. That's the spiritual promise, you guys. That's for those who are in Judah and in Israel that has Christ branded for eternity. That's the true promise, y'all. Through the power of who Christ is, brought you in. And it didn't just bring you. It brought others that's in the fold. Because when it all said and done, Judah and Israel, I ain't gonna say Israel, Judah is teaching it like it's all about them. They even cut this whole book out as if it don't have nothing to do with the power and the word and the spirit of Yah. They made it about Hebrew Israelites, we the true Jews, we the people, we the children. Wait a minute, hold up. Yeah, you could be the children of who though? There's two, the darkness or the light. Everything that you say you are is two of them. Like unto the two promise. I just showed up and showed out on y'all how that promise to Abraham about the land, he gave it to him. Just because they did what they did only don't mean he didn't fulfill what he told Abraham. Now he's going to pull up Abraham in the other vision. What is promise is that one, Abraham? It's the promise of the seed of the spirit. And y'all going to find that out. Let's go. We ain't done yet, y'all. We finna break this thing down. Okay, now let's go into the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 14. The lies. And what make it okay for me to know and accept the fact that they were all lies is he that's greater in me, that teaches me from this level, not from your level, not from what you be watching, what you be reading, what you be studying, what you call Yah in you. But I'm talking about the one that's in me, that's teaching me how to teach you. John chapter 10 and verse 14. In John chapter 10 and verse 14, listen to this. It says, I am the good shepherd and know my sheep and am known of mine. As the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father. He's showing you two entities. Each one of us knows each other. And I lay down my life for the sheep. And verse 16, and another sheep I have which are not of the fold. That's the Gentiles, other nations. Listen to this. Verse 16, and other sheep I have which are not of this fold. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Praise the Most High Yah. What is he talking about? He's talking about the sheep that is under Abraham, the spiritual sheep that's under Abraham. Okay? And also the sheep that's not under Abraham are also in the fold. Okay? And this is what he's saying. And them also in verse 16, I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. And that's why I say to you all these directions everybody running in, you better wake up, baby. You know y'all only got one going to the light. There's only one going to eternal kingdom. He don't have both lanes for both lanes to go to the eternal. I know it the way they teaching y'all, everybody going. They should teach you that. Because if he ain't greater in you to teach you anything better than that, they need to teach you that. So verse 17, therefore do it my Father give me, because I laid down my life, and that I might take it again. I may take it again. Listen to this. This is the I am. Watch this here. Verse 18. No man take it from me. But I laid it down of myself. I have the power. See, that's what you're missing. You're missing the power that's speaking here. You're missing it. Listen to what verse 18 says. No man take it from me, but I laid it down myself. I have the power to lay it down. I have the power to take it up again. Stand y'all tails down and stop interfering with my Father's power. Like y'all know what it is. You don't know. That's why he said denying the power therein, because without anything the power took this mission to the fullness. It took it from him being born, him being in the womb of Mary, him being crucified, risen, redeemed us back. All power was in plan for that. All power. While we down here trying to talk about we know the name. We know who Yeshua is. We know who Hamashiach is, which is Jesus. We know who Christ is. You might as well stick with the word Jesus because you don't know nothing. You don't know a rat's behind from a rat's behind. Okay, let's go into this. So he said in verse 18, no man taketh it from me, but I laid it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up again. This commandment have I received of my Father. You see that? He's letting you know this is a commandment that I received it of my Father. He's letting you know that Christ has the power to fulfill the commandment of the Father. That's who Christ is. He had the power to lay it down. He had the power to pick it up. He had the power to be I am. So who is this power? The Son of Yah. You get it? This is how people, that's why he say, okay, when we know that they went and they crucified Yeshua. Who is that said that ain't nobody take my life? I laid it down. Y'all better wake up and understand. Ain't no better because it's over. But I appreciate the Father giving that. Now, this is where it's going to be broke down to you in a way that you have never heard it. Second Peter. Now listen to this. And to those that are other nations, you come in through what Yah branded you already would coming down. Let me say that again. You come back in the same way you came down, branded. Okay, so that's why I like he say that no man can boast. I like that because it's like saying, okay, nobody say, well, I know I did, because we know when you know that where it started, you know where it ends. And 99.9 don't know either or. Praise the mighty Yah. Let's go to 2 Peter. 2 Peter, verse 2. And 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 20 and 21. In 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 20 and 21, listen to this. For it had been better for them not to know the way of righteousness, than after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment, okay, delivered unto them. Okay, verse 2. But it is happened unto them according to the true proverb. To the true proverb, the dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the soul that was washed to her swallowing in the mire, which is mud. Letting you know the dog went back to where it was. A dog. Eat vomit. And he says here, verse 21, for it had been better for them not to have known the way to righteousness. It would have been better for you not to even know. And I say that to each and every last one at the side of my voice that always tuning in to Sister Deborah. You better know where you sit at the table. You better know that. Because I'm not sitting at the table alone. Too much oil of anointed being poured on me for me to be sitting at a table alone. But you better know which side of the table you on. Okay? So here he said in verse 21, for it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness, So you run around here thinking you know the righteous and you know this, you know this, you know this, you did, you that. Watch this. Then after they have known it, y'all let you know, don't play with me. And don't play with the ones that I'm sending to speak on my behalf. Because I am greater in them than anything on the outside of them. Check. So what is he saying here? To turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. Watch this here. But it is happening unto them according to the proverb, the true proverb. Let's go to Proverbs 26. Let's go there. Let's go to Proverbs 26. In Proverbs 26, they said it's going according to Proverbs. And let's go to the Proverbs in which I think this rests are in. Proverbs 26 and verse 11. In Proverbs 26 and verse 11, it says, as a dog returned to his vomit, so a fool returned to his follies. See that? Verse 12, see it by, I don't think this is a man wise in his own concept. There is more hope of a fool than him. And that's what in Proverbs 16 and verse 2. In a man's eyes is clean in his own eyes. But I'm glad the Father, he checks that spirit. Because that's what he measures. Your heart of spirit. Your mind of spirit. And everybody thinking he's worried about your flesh mind. And your flesh heart, baby. That flesh heart and that flesh mind know where it's going in the long run. It's where the spirit is at. That's going to determine which direction is your eternal. So while you thinking in your own eyes you clean, that's in your flesh. You better check yourself. Okay? So one thing about this here lesson is this. Here, the promise is not the promise. And this is why I say he allowed me to climb back on top of it. Because I realized that I got off of it about 3 years ago and didn't keep pressuring the fact that y'all got two promises. There is two promises. A promise to Abraham in the flesh and a promise to Abraham in the spirit. The bondswoman was the promise in the flesh. But Abraham was Isaac was the promise in the spirit. This is what brought the rim into Jacob. The promise of the spirit come Jacob. And out of Jacob was two promises. Still yet, the promise of the spirit and the promise of the flesh. I know it. They thinking all of them going somewhere. That's why they have no respect. The men have no respect to show the Most High Yah. They have no honor. They have no praise. They won't exalt him. They won't magnify him. They only teach you that they are the beginning and end. We are the people. We are the children. We are the true Jews. We are the Hebrew Israelite. We Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Check. Which one? There's two. One of the promise of the land, or one of the promise of the promise of the land which Josh took you to, or are you thinking of the promise, which that one is of the flesh? Yeah, that's why your flesh end up in all these four corners in captivity. It would always gave you the promise that he promised Abraham. And in me, it bothers me that I have never, ever, ever, ever heard nobody teach it the way I just laid it out. That's why I was so excited, because I knew the spirit of the Most High was rumbling in me, and it was feeling too good, still feeling good. But the fact that I've been saying to the Father, well, Father, it appeared to be two promises. The promise you kept with Abraham for the land, for the children of Israel, for the flesh seed of Abraham. But it seemed like there's a promise for the spiritual seed of Abraham. He said it is. Let's cover that. Let's get to that. And here today, in such a midnight hour, I am so grateful for Yah to plant that in my spirit, because you know what? He knew who can tell it. He knew who can speak it. He knew who can bring that bad boy up and land that bad boy down. And I give him all glory and praise to allow me. Why? It's not to bring light to you because you can't see. If you can't see, you can't see anyway. It ain't got nothing to do with Sister Deborah. It ain't got nothing to do with the light. It ain't got nothing to do with spirit and truth if you cannot see. If you cannot hear, it ain't got nothing to do with nobody but you. Well, your destiny has been ordained and predestined. Your eternal. It has to do with the two lanes. There got to be a two of everything. So it makes sense that there have to be two promises. One for those who rise the promise of the flesh, that he promised Abraham in the flesh. But there's another promise to Abraham, and that was the spiritual seed that's going to come into the kingdom. We ain't gonna get out of here. We ain't going nowhere. Nope. Where is it at? We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. 1 minute, you guys. Let me go get that other verse. Nope, we ain't going nowhere. Nope. Nope, we ain't going nowhere. Oh, here it is, right before me. We ain't going nowhere. Woo! I keep going this chef off. We ain't going nowhere. Hold up, y'all. Y'all got to get this here. No. I'm finna on this. Woo! Thing is dropping. Nope. I'm not gonna stop. Wait a minute, y'all. I'm not done yet. Let me go here. Let me see if this is it. I'm missing something that's gonna put a cap on this message. And I'm hoping this is it. Let me see if this is it. I think it is. I hope it is. I hope that it is. Okay, I think this is it. Let us rumble. I think this is it, you guys. I think this is it. I'm gonna go on and go over it because I think this is it. Okay, let's go to John, the Gospel of John, chapter. Matter of fact, I think this is chapter 8. The Gospel of John, chapter 8. The Gospel of John, chapter 8. Now here we go. We're finna sum this message up. This is the last chapter and the last verses that fall under this chapter. The Gospel of John, chapter 8 and verse 33. Let's rumble. Watch this. They answered him, "We be Abraham's seed." Abraham's seed. "And were never in bondage to any man." And were never in bondage to any man. "How saith thou, ye shall be made free?" Now listen to what they said. Let's go back. Do I have to go all the way up? I didn't want to go this far, but let's go on so we can end this message. Let's go to John, the Gospel of John, chapter 8. Okay. And let's go to verse 31. And right here, you finna see the two difference of the two promises. Okay. The Gospel of John, chapter 8, and verse 31. Then said Yeshua to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. They answered him, what be Abraham's seed? See how they didn't separate it? They didn't separate him telling them. He's sitting here telling them. And they separate already what he said and calling them Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man. How said thou, ye shall be made free? See, they did not understand that he was explaining to them, believe is a brand, okay? And if you believe in him, if you continue in my word, then are ye the disciples indeed. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Listen to how ignorant Judah and Israel is. They answered him, be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man. How saith thou, ye shall be made free? They don't understand the spiritual in what Yeshua is speaking of. They're looking at, they fail to understand what Yeshua was saying was spiritual seed. Yeshua was speaking spiritual seed, and they so ignorant, like they today, especially Judah. They sitting here talking about, no, we be Abraham's seed. Even they know that there's two, and you do not today. Back then, they knew that there were two. And here you stand looking all cockeyed today. They can't even comprehend the two seeds. One of the flesh and one of the spirit. Yeshua speaking of the seed of the spirit. The Jews are speaking of the seed of the flesh. Talking about we Abraham's seed, just like they talk today. We the people, we the Abraham. They just as ignorant because they still have not found the seed of the spirit. Talking about what's flesh. Now watch this here. In verse 34, Yeshua said to them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever commits sin is the servant of sin. Okay? He's breaking it down to them in a different level. And the servant abide not in the house forever, but the son abideth forever. All right. Because what son is he talking about? Christ. He's forever. But if the servant abide not in the house, the servant abide not in the house forever, but the son abideth forever. He's showing them two, y'all. Look at the two directions. Starting with 34, Yeshua said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever commits sin is the servant of sin. Verse 35, he's still talking about that servant of sin. And the servant of sin abide not in the house forever, but the son abideth forever. He just gave you two different directions. He's sitting here telling these stupid Jews the same thing Sister Deborah been on this platform trying to get them to see. Now watch this here. Verse 36. If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. That's Christ. What is son? What son is that? The power. If the power, Hamashiach, which the world called Christ, make you free. You shall be free indeed. Verse 37. I know that ye are Abraham's seeds. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love it. Go Yeshua pulling up. I'm gonna see how I be pulling up to I think. Watch this here. Know that. Watch this here. Know that ye are Abraham's seed. But ye seek to kill me, because my word has no place in you. Now, if his word have no place in you, now watch what he's telling. He's showing them two different type of Abraham seed. Now watch what he said. I know that ye are Abraham's seed. Ye seek to kill me. Makes you that to separate the seed that you are in the flesh of Abraham from the seed that's trying to kill me, and I am of the spirit. Because my word has no place in you. Sister Deborah been trying to preach that to y'all. Run your tail here talking about the rule of dash. You got the hardest heart and wicked and greed in your spirit. Here it is, he's letting them know straight through. You better rightly divide what you think you read. Okay, now listen to what he says in 37. I know that ye are Abraham's seed. Watch this here. Watch this here. He's letting them know, I know you are the flesh. Okay? You're the bloodline of the flesh. But ye seek to kill me, because my word has no place in you. Now watch this here. I speak that which I have seen with my Father. And ye do that which ye have seen with your Father. He just separated, Yeshua just separated the Father of the kingdom and the Father of the flesh. He just separated right there and went on. As everything else. Let's go over that one more time. Just one more time. John chapter 8, verse 37 and 38. I know that ye are Abraham's seed, meaning the flesh. Okay? But ye seek to kill me, because my word has no place in you. Spiritual. Okay? Verse 38. I speak that which I have seen of my Father. You see that Father capitalized? Yeshua stepping all up in y'all. That I speak of my Father. Watch this here. And you do that which you have seen with your Father. That separate the flesh and the spirit. Two fathers. What has happened, y'all? And I'm grateful that the Father let me cap that off. I'm grateful, not that he let me cap it off, but he clammed on top of my head with this one here. And then he says, I speak that which I have seen with my Father. That's a heavy one. He's seen this. Okay, watch this here. And ye do that which ye have seen with your Father. And watch this. They answered and said unto Abraham, they answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. He didn't say he wasn't. He just told you. Yeshua said unto them, if ye were Abraham's children, ye would do the work of Abraham. Didn't I tell y'all? Many people are on this earth have no work at all that represent the spiritual Abraham. None whatsoever. But they'll turn around and teach you like they are loaded with the spirit of the Most High God. They have assured themselves as if they got their keys and the ticket to the kingdom already. But their actions that's portrayed on this earth identify them as not what they say that they are, but what they feel they are. Now, listen to 39. 39 says, they answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. That's what he said. Watch this here. He's telling them their father. Now watch this here. Yeshua said unto them, now, this is what he said. If ye were Abraham's children, watch this here. Ye would do the work of Abraham. You see? So he's telling him your work is not matching the spiritual Abraham. Okay? Now watch this here. But ye seek to kill me, a man that has told you the truth, which I have heard of the Father. Watch this, watch this. That did not Abraham. Let me wrap that around you again. He said in verse 40, but now ye seek to kill me, a man that has told you the truth, which I have heard of my Father. This did not Abraham. That's deep. Look at verse 41. Ye do the deeds of your fathers. Then they say unto him, we be not born of fornication. We have one Father, even Yah. Yeshua said unto them, if Yah were your Father, ye would give me. For I proceed forth and came from the Father. Neither came I of myself. I hear you, Christ. I hear you, Homicide. But he sent me. Why do you not understand my speech? And I say that unto y'all. Y'all still missing it. You ain't going to get it. You have to have the Ruach to really get this. Listen to what Yeshua said in verse 42. Yeshua said unto them, if Yah were your Father, ye would give me. For I speak forth, came from Yah, neither came I of myself, but he that sent me. Verse 43, why do you not understand my speech? I'm a living witness to that. Even because ye cannot hear my word. Watch 44. Ye are your the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abide not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. And that's what I say to the y'all. You have to have spirit and truth in you. Not running around here talking about you teaching and preaching truth. It has to be greater in you than any truth that you on the outside of you. Now watch what he says. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abide not in truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speak a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is the liar. He is a liar and the father of it. I must go on. Verse 45. And because I tell you the truth, ye believe me not. That's the thing I like more than anything. Is the more Sister Deborah pour out spirit and truth in the light, the more the falling away is. But it ain't in your power and in your authority. It ain't in your will. It is what Yah has already separated from the kingdom. Okay? See, it just make me feel good because people think everything in their power. They think the will of the Father belongs to them. They think they flesh orchestrated the beginning and the end of their living. Baby, anytime the Ruach live in you and has taught you, I rule the darkness as well as the light. Anybody step into me, I rule the both. Mess with me if you want to. Because they don't see him like that. But that's where his fears come in. Because they try to play on him. Try to make everybody think, oh, he the light. He don't know nothing about darkness. He can't control wicked and he's good. And you's a fool. You're going to live a fool and die a fool. That right hand control it all. I ain't ashamed to tell the truth of the whole matter, who he is. Okay. So here in verse 45, it says, and because I tell you the truth, you believe me not. That's how everybody got killed. That was the servant of the Father. We come down here to tell you the truth. You want to make us alive. You want to make, now look at me all cockeyed. Look at me as being evil, like I want something from you, baby. I ain't got nothing. If y'all ain't gave it to you and put on your heart to do so for it. You ain't got nothing but a hardened heart and a wicked heart, so he wouldn't use you. People try to use you. They try to play that role because they want to get into your circle, into that zone, so they can manipulate you or try to get away with you, thinking they're going to get to know you in that way. Oh, yeah, they'll give then. But once they see that you ain't that type of person, they'll back all the way up where they need to be anyway. Sit on the other side of the table, okay? Because where I'm at, y'all's pouring that oil on my head, all right? So verse 46, I think I did 40, no, verse 47. We in the Gospel of John chapter 8, verse 46. Which of you convinced me of sin? And if I say the truth, why do you not believe me? So you're sure having the same issue. You're sure having the same issue. Okay? Verse 47. He that is of Yah heareth Yah's word. Ye therefore hear them not, because ye are not of Yah. Praise the Most High Yah. I'm going to stop right there. That's what I got listed. But what's in here, he's trying to let them know the difference between Abraham. Okay? And they're claiming, oh, we Abraham. That's our father, Abraham. You see how they take into the flesh of who Abraham is? Because they have no idea of the part of Abraham, that spirit. So Yeshua had to step into them and let them know, like, look, I am. Okay? That which the Father sent. And if you don't hear me, it's because the word wasn't sent to you. Hello. Let's end that bad boy. All right, Sister Deborah, I got something out of that one. I hope you did too. Sister Deborah, say that I will be back, and I'm not going live. I didn't go live because I uploaded the message a way that I feel comfortable being. So you don't participate in live. You don't speak in live. So live yourself somewhere and sit down. Shalom.